Hello. Now in this video lecture I discuss the structure of starch and further disclose as well as discuss the chemistry of amylose and amylopectin accordingly. So, as you know, starch is nothing but a polysaccharide. And if I be very specific to the topic, or I will further concise the starch. So starch is a homopolysaccharide. Homopolysaccharide means the starch consists of only single type of monomeric units which are linked together in order to give a definite or a particular size as well as structure to the starch. So generally the starch is composed of D glucose units. D means here the capital D glucose unit, where the capital D itself indicates the configuration of glucose present in the starch. So basically the starch consists of two fractions which are amylose and amylopectin. So these are the two components of which the starch is made up of, and the amylose, the net quantity of the net fraction of the amylose present in starch is approximately 15 to 20%, and amylopectin is about 80%. So basically the amylose is a water soluble fraction, and its quantity which is present in the starch in terms of percentage, it's about 20%, and amylopectin, which is a water insoluble fraction whose quantity is about 80%. Because of dominance or more quantity for presence of amylopectin compared to the amylose, the starch remains insoluble in the water. So this is the basic reason behind the insolubility of starch, as the starch contain a more quantity of amylopectin, which is anyhow be insoluble in which is the insoluble fraction, and as it is present in the large quantity, so definitely it will ultimately imparts or give the starch a feature of water insolubility anyhow. So now I will discuss the chemistry of these two fractions which are present in the starch. So here is the structure of amylose which is present in the starch, and you can here at least anyhow can see that these structure represents the D glucose units which are linked together by glycosidic linkage or a glycosidic bonds. You can see here this is the bond which ultimately holds the two molecule of monomeric units, that is the D glucose, which ultimately be linked together in order to form a molecule of amylose, or which ultimately imparts the structure to the amylose, and these two molecules are ultimately be held together by head to tail pattern. So here these molecules are held by the head of one unit of D glucose is linked to the another unit of D glucose by head to tail pattern, and this head to tail arrangement of these units will ultimately be used for the structure of amylose. So the particular linkage, that is the glycosidic linkage, which is responsible in amylose is specifically is 1,4 glycosidic linkage. So the amylose consists of 1,4 glycosidic linkage, and you can see here why it ultimately be called as 1,4 glycosidic linkage, because here the first carbon atom of one of the D-glucose unit, it linked to the fourth carbon atom of another D-glucose unit by a glycosidic bond or a glycosidic linkage, and hence this particular molecule the amylose is having the 1,4 glycosidic linkage. Now in terms of structure, this molecule, amylose molecule, is not a straight chain, rather the amylose molecule or the amylose is ultimately present in an helical form. So the amylose ultimately exists in an coil-like pattern or in a coil-like manner, and within the coil or within this helical structure there is a sufficient room is formed, or within this helical structure a room is formed, and that particular room is ultimately get occupied by this iodine in order to form or generate a color which is specifically used for its identification. So this particular structure of amylose, that is this particular linkage, as there is no branching present in this amylose molecule, and this non-branching present in this amylose structure will ultimately favor this amylose to be form a better helical structure, and due to the formation of this better helical structure, a room is formed within a molecule in which a starch can ultimately be enter, and it will be ultimately form a complex with the amylose molecule, and hence gives the blue color. So now let us discuss the chemistry behind the amylopectin. And the amylopectin is ultimately be composed of at least 80% of the total starch, and the amylopectin rather than forming an helix like structure, it is a branched like structure. It is having a branch pattern, and this structure of amylopectin, as you can see here, the amylopectin structure you can easily be see here, that this amylopectin is also be composed of monomeric units which are ultimately be linked in a pattern similar to the amylose unit. As you can see here, the two monomeric units are also linked in amylopectin by head to tail arrangement, as the one which I discussed earlier also in the case of amylose, and these units are ultimately be linked together in a pattern similar to the amylose, and here you can see they are linked together by the 1,4 glycosidic linkage. So here also this 1 and 4 glycosidic linkage is formed by a linkage between, or by a bonding between, the first carbon atom of one molecule and to the fourth carbon atom of the another unit, and hence this ultimately gives rise to a this particular amylopectin like structure or amylopectin structure. So this is also a head to tail arrangement, and you can see here I have numbered these particular things as the one is the head of one unit, and the fourth carbon atom is the tail of another unit, and you can see here these molecules are ultimately be linked by 1,4 linkage, or one first carbon and the fourth carbon, and hence this particular linkage which ultimately be used to combine or to join the two monomeric units is ultimately be known as 1,4 glycosidic linkage. Now, beside having the 1,4 glycosidic linkage, the amylopectin molecule is also having a very unique and a very rare linkage, which is also be known as 1,6 glycosidic linkage. Now, this 1,6 glycosidic linkage is a very rarest linkage, and it is found not only in, it is found only in certain carbohydrates molecule. And why ultimately this molecule or why this particular unit linkage is known as 1,6 glycosidic linkage? The reason behind this particular linkage is As you can see here, there is bonding is formed, or the two molecule here in this case are linked by first carbon atom of one unit to the sixth carbon atom of another unit. So you can see here this that you can see here the first carbon atom. You can see here this particular unit have a first carbon atom, and this CH2OH has a sixth carbon atom, and once these molecules are get be linked together, you can ultimately be, this particular unit will ultimately be formed 1,6 glycosidic linkage. So this 1,6 glycosidic linkage is the rarest linkage, and this particular linkage is used in order to form it is used to link or to join the two molecules together. Now what is this importance of this 1,6 glycosidic linkage? The importance of this 1,6 glycosidic linkage, when we compare this amylopectin with that of amylose, in amylose we have only found that this particular molecule is having 1,4 glycosidic linkage. Rather, the amylopectin is having an additional linkage along with 1,4 glycosidic linkage is the 1,6 glycosidic linkage, and this additional 1,6 glycosidic linkage is ultimately be used to form the branching, and this branching in amylopectin will occur in every 25 to 30 unit, and this ultimately be continues. So this 1,6 glycosidic linkage will ultimately be responsible for the branching in amylopectin, and because of this particular linkage, the amylopectin molecule, or this particular linkage, the amylopectin molecule is present in a branched form, rather than forming a suitable or a very so this or a helical structure, or a more compact helical structure. Rather, this particular structure exists in a branch, and this particular linkage, that is the 1,6 linkage, will ultimately be not too much useful to or this particular linkage will ultimately create a problem for these molecules to be get forms a very coil like structure. And because of this particular thing, that this molecule is not folded a very in a very general or in a very good sense, and hence once this particular molecules gets react with the iodine, this molecule is not able to produce so intense color compared to the amylose. As we can see here, once the amylose will ultimately gets treated with iodine, it will forms the intense blue color. However, the amylopectins fails to form any intense blue color due to the reason which I have discussed earlier.